Hi everyone, my name is Havish Madhupati, and in this video I want to talk about how you can write better Excel formulas. Now some of these are very simple tips that will immediately have an impact on the way you write your formulas. And some of these hopefully will be new to you and can enable you to make fewer errors, reduce the turnaround time, and become more efficient. Let's get started. The first thing that you can do is to show the formulas in a cell. So I have an example here. It is a simple data set with the customer name, segment, and the sales value. And we have written a VLOOKUP. So we are searching for Darren Pass in column C and getting a result from the third column, which is the sales value. One option to see the formula in a cell is to look at the formula bar. The other option is to press F2. That will take you inside the cell and you can see the formula, or you can also double click. The double click and the F2 is the same thing. If you want to see all the four formulas at the same time, then you can press Control tilde. So you have to press Control plus tilde. The tilde sign is the button which is on the left of the number one key on your keyboard. It is above the tab key, below the escape key, and on the left of the number one key. Just so that all of us are on the same page, the tilde key is this one, the one that looks like an approximate sign. If you press this along with Control, this will open up all the formulas on your worksheet. And this is very handy when maybe you have copied a formula in multiple cells. And at one glance, you quickly want to check if everything is looking correct or not. The other way to do this is to go to Formulas and click on Show Formulas. The same thing, it will show all the formulas. And to come back to the normal mode, click on Show Formulas once again. If you want to see the formula in another cell equal to formula text, will show you the formula like this. This is nice because it allows you to see the formula and the result at the same time. The next very important thing I want to talk about is the use of spaces and line breaks. I have a different example for this. So here we have a problem statement where we want to understand that different applicants will get a loan or will not get a loan, or will get a conditional loan. The actual formula here is not important. What is more important is that despite the fact that this is a very long formula, you notice that it looks very neat. And the reason for that is that we are very generously using both spaces as well as line breaks. Just to give you a comparison, if we had written the same formula without putting spaces and using line breaks, then the formula would have looked like this. You know, and I tell people that if you have to follow one thing and one thing only, please make sure to never ever write formulas like this. It makes absolutely no sense to overcomplicate the process and make it riddled with the possibility of an error. It just makes it so much more difficult to even understand what you have done and especially make any tweaks to it. Just compare this versus this. So spaces can be put after a comma, and then a line break can also be put after a comma. To put the line break, you can simply press Alt Enter. Enter will confirm the formula, but if you press Alt Enter like this, it will break the formula into multiple lines. This is something that is very, very important. Maybe with smaller formulas, it might not help you a lot, but especially with larger formulas like this can be a lifesaver. This one is simple. Use comments. Comments help you, it helps the other person as well. Sometimes after we have written a formula like this, we ourselves might forget what was the logic behind it. So to put a comment, right click and you can insert a comment from here. And you can simply write what you want to write. So you can say that have to discuss the results with the boss, like this. The other option that we have is to make a note. In review, we have the option for a note. And the note is the more traditional looking option, which is like this. So remember earlier, these yellow boxes were called comments. Now comments are different. When you're sharing Excel files with other people, that's where it is important. And this is the classic note that you have, like this. Use zoom and screenshots. Let us say you are in a formula, and because the formula is quite large, it is very difficult to understand each and every element in it. Or maybe you made a mistake and you want to spot where that mistake is happening. To zoom, you can press Windows along with the plus and the minus sign. So if you press the Windows along with the plus sign, the entire screen will zoom in. Imagine you're viewing a picture on your phone and you pinch in and pinch out. It's a little bit like that. This is a Windows shortcut, so this works on the display. That means that anything that is being displayed on your computer, if you press Windows plus and minus, it will zoom in and zoom out. Again, a lot of people struggle with small 13-inch laptops, and they have to focus really hard on that very complicated long formula that they have written. But zooming in helps you a lot. The other option is to simply take a screenshot. The screenshot can be taken with Windows Shift S. So I'll just write the shortcut here. Zoom is the Windows button along with the plus button, and the Windows button along with the minus button. And then a screenshot will be Windows plus Shift plus S. So when I press Windows Shift and S, it allows me to take a screenshot, and I can simply take a screenshot like this and paste it on my Excel file. This is just temporary. It just makes it easier for you to look at the result, look at the formula, and maybe if you're not able to get it right in the first go, you can refer to the image, and that makes this process a little simpler. Otherwise, it's very difficult to make a change, press enter, make another change, press enter. The next suggestion is the function argument box. When you're writing a formula, let us say a VLOOKUP. To make the process a little easier, you can simply write the function name, which is equal to VLOOKUP, open the parentheses, and then click on the FX button, this one. The shortcut is Shift F3 or Control A. Both of them do the same thing. After I've written equal to VLOOKUP and a parentheses, Shift F3 and Control A will also open the function argument box. Here, the advantage is that it gives you a little bit of description of each of the arguments. Plus, you don't have to put the commas. That happens on its own. And the best part is that you can also see a preview of the result even before you press OK. To give you an example, if I'm looking up the name and the table array is column C, D, and E, my column number is 3 and my range lookup is false, you can see that the result is 902. Even before you press OK, you can verify if everything has been done properly or not. Especially when you're working with multiple sheets, using the function argument can help you a lot. The next tip is the watch window and debugging. Let us say you've written a formula like this and you have made a small mistake somewhere. Maybe rather than writing 650, you wrote 1650. And you're sure that this result is not correct. It is not matching with the logic that you wanted to keep. But how do you identify what part of that formula has been written incorrectly? To do that, click on formulas and then select evaluate formula. And evaluate is a little bit like debugging that we do in programming languages. And this will allow you to go through the formula step by step. So I can click on evaluate. I can see if 620 is greater than 750. And then one at a time, I can see all the steps falling into place. Now, obviously, there is no guarantee that this will help you identify the mistake that you have made, but this is super handy, especially when you have made a mistake and if you've written a long, complicated formula and you yourself want to retrace the entire process, or maybe somebody else has shared their formula with you and you want to see how that formula is working. We also have the watch window. For this, I want to take a different example. Let's say this one. Here we have a VLOOKUP where my table array is on a different sheet, sheet number 1. Now I want to see if a change on sheet 1 will impact these 3 results. And every time if I make a change here, I have to press Control page up, page down, and go to the other sheet. The easy way of doing this is to select the 3 cells with the formula, go to formulas and select the watch window. I will select, let me first delete everything that I already have. So we select the 3 cells, we click on add watch. And as you can see, it is telling us the book, the workbook name, the sheet name, any range names that you have given, the cell reference, the value, and the formula. You can even drag the watch window and place it just below the formula bar like this. And this is very handy because now if I make any change, for example, if I'm changing Mick Brown, from 414 to 900, I can see that that number changed here as well. Especially for financial or any modeling of any sort, and you're working with multiple worksheets, this can be very handy. The next tip is to use a new window. Let us come back to the same example. Let me remove the watch window. Let's say we have to write a VLOOKUP. Now, one option is to use the function argument box that I just told you. So equal to VLOOKUP, click on the FX button. The lookup value is Mick Brown. The table array is on the other sheet, which is BCND. Column number 3 and range lookup is false. And it works. You will see here it is called VL data since I've given a name to that data set. So for simplicity, for now, let's remove that. And let's just call it B colon D. I'm sorry. Let me just check once. Yeah, on the other sheet, so sheet 1, B colon D. Now this movement from one sheet to the other sheet is not very nice. I know that the function argument box makes it simpler, but would it not be nice if you could have seen both the sheets at the same time? Even if you're working on a single screen and on the same Excel workbook. To do that, you notice that the name of my workbook is VLOOKUP based on multiple sheets. When I click on View and then select New Window, it will create a second copy of my Excel workbook, and it is called VLOOKUP based on multiple sheets -2. If I press Alt Tab, you can see that there are two instances of the same Excel file, which is great. So Alt Tab is one option, but even better, you can just drag the window like this to the left corner of your screen and then select the other Excel file. And this means that I can have sheet 2 open on the left side and sheet 1 open on the right side. And I'm sure all of you will agree with me that this process of being able to write a formula while you're able to select the data from a different worksheet is so much easier compared to all the other options that you have. This new window is also very helpful when you want to compare two sheets, for example. And just another tip, this works on Word and PowerPoint as well. Even though with Excel, I think this is the most important, but it works on Word and PowerPoint as well. The next tip is to use tables. Let's take a simple example. Now in this data, if I add Havish, you notice that I can't really copy my formula below because it will give me an error. Even if I add Havish in the future to the original data set, it still gives me an error because it is only selecting from C3 till E30. Now there are different ways of tackling this. One option is to select the entire column like this in the formula, which works very well. Another option is to make a table. I'll select column C, D, and E. Click on Insert and then select Table. Notice that I'm not selecting column B because column B cannot be the leftmost column since it has something else, customer ID, and we only want to search for the customer name. So column C, D, and E, and I click on Table. Press OK, and a table has been created. So in the top right corner, you can see table design and the table name is table 1. Let's just call it my table. How do we write the formula now? Equal to VLOOKUP. We are searching for Darren Parks in my table. The column number is 3 and the type of lookup is false. As you can see, works very well. And here's the best part. Tomorrow, if you have to copy this formula below and this value gets added here, you notice that it automatically gets updated. Since you were never referring to any specific cell, it is dynamic, which means that as more rows get added to my table, the formula works. This will also help you when you're working with multi-sheet workbooks because you can refer to the data from a different worksheet and call it by simply giving the column name and the table name like this. Understand errors. A lot of people, when I ask, as I work as a consultant, and a lot of people tell me, Havish, there is a problem. And I ask them, what is the type of error that you had? And they say, we did not observe, we did not bother to see what type of error it was. This is very important. Identifying what type of error it is will really help you save a lot of time trying to figure out what are the possible reasons it could have happened. Let's take a few examples. So I've written my, let's remove everything else. I've written my VLOOKUP, which is working perfectly. Now, if I write the same formula with a 0, it will give me a value error. Or a -1 and a -2 will also give me a value error. This means that the formula, the column number cannot be 0 or a negative number. It gives you a value error. Also, if you try to add 5 plus a, it gives you a value error. That means you cannot add a number and a text value. What will happen if I give a column number like 4, which is not there in the data? Then it gives me a RAF error. That means that I want a result from the fourth column, but I don't have 4 columns in my data set. So we have done the value error, we have done the RAF error. If you're searching for a name that does not exist in the data, then it gives you an NA error, which means the value could not be found in the first column. Then there are some other types of errors. If you try to divide something by 0, you get div 0. And if you try to say 10 to the power of 10, you get a very large number. But if you say 10 to the power of 1000, then you get a numerical error. That means that this is such a large result that Excel is not able to compute it. There are other types of errors as well. So for example, now we have, just to give you a sense, if you write something like this, you can't say G7 colon G9 because there is a value A here. So it gives you a spill error. I will not get into all this right now, but the most common errors that you have are NA, div 0, then you have RAF, then we have the value error. I think most of the errors that you will face will revolve around them, and these happen with VLOOKUPs very often. Again, simply learning errors will not really help you never make mistakes. That will still happen, but it will definitely make you a better Excel user. There are also some functions like is ARR and is error. I'm not covering this for now, but maybe you can have a look at this later. Let's come to the final 2 tips. One is to deconstruct ready-made formulas. See, if you go to a website like exceljet.net, you will find ready-made formulas available. For example, let us say we want to search for a sum product like this. You can see that the functions have been explained and you have the entire formula that you can just copy and paste. I'll give you an example. A question that a lot of people ask me is that if I have, let's say, 2 data points. So we have the date and the time, and I have the date and the time here as well. Let's just change the result a little bit. Let's call it the 5th of March, and let's make it, let's say, 5:35 a.m. To find the difference between the start and the end, it's not really very simple, right? So I can simply say difference in Excel in days, month, and year. And a simple Google search gives me these results. So you can see that I can simply copy these ready-made formulas that have been given for me. Just a moment. I'm not sure if I've selected the correct link. I think this is, okay. Let me just copy this entire thing and come back and paste it. And you can see that it tells me something which is not correct because my values have to be in different cells. Okay, got it. We have B2 and we have D2. Here we have B2 and D2. And here also we have B2 and D2. 0 years, 1 month, 2 days. Very cool, right? It would have been very difficult for you to try to write this yourself. Since we're using a function called data_diff, which it seems that it is not even there in Excel. It's a very mysterious function which works, but it doesn't show you the arguments. It seems to a user that there is no function called data_diff, but as you can see, it works. Again, this is just an example that I wanted to show you, but a lot of people feel that as a programmer, we can go to, let's say, Stack Overflow and ask different types of questions. And for Excel, we feel that maybe we don't have all these options with us. But as you can see, that basic Google search might also help you maybe get the complete answer or get a part answer. So it can help you save a lot of time. So definitely go online, look at these complex formulas that have been created and try to deconstruct it. A, it will help you save time. And B, if you just want to learn, just go online and search for these complex formulas and try to break it down into pieces and try to understand how it would work. On that note, it reminds me, another part of understanding a formula in detail is to press F9. Let me explain that. If I say that this part of the formula from AND E9 greater than 650, C9 greater than 50,000, D9 equal to N. If I ask you what is the result of only this part, usually you would copy it, come back to another cell, paste it and say that Havish, the result is false. But this takes a lot of time. The simpler way of doing this is to select that portion of the formula for which you want to find an intermediary result and press F9. This will give you the result then and there. Very handy. It's a little bit like debugging, but rather than having to evaluate all the parts of the formula step by step, this allows you to simply identify one part of that long formula. And the final tip that I want to give all of you is to use a little bit of VBA. Now, I know those of you who don't work on VBA might think, Havish, how do we even get started? But it's not that difficult to start. And also there's a lot of ready-made content available. Plus, in any case, this will be a good motivator for all of you because you can see the amazing things that are possible using VBA and VBA only. No matter how good an Excel user you are, without VBA, there is a ceiling to how good you can become. Let me give you an example. What I have here is a worksheet with some formulas in it. You can see that there are some formulas in column K, there are some formulas in A4, in B1, and in A7. What formulas have I used? That's not really important. But imagine that I want to keep a check or keep a log of all the formulas that I have used, which will help me understand my data better, help me explain it to other people better, and probably help me identify any issues that are there. Now, you can't go to every cell and press F2, right? You also can't show all the formulas in a worksheet because there might be hundreds of formulas in a worksheet. So what I have here with me is a simple VBA code that you can see here. The link to get it, copy it and paste it is there on my website. The link I'll be sharing on the video description. But I just want to show you how it works. I click on developer and I click on macros and then I run this code. And I notice that in one click, it does this amazing thing. It just creates a new worksheet for me, telling me these are all the formulas that I have used. So it is telling me that in B1, I've written a formula A1 plus A2. Then in A7, I've written a sum product. And like this, for every single cell, it gives me a list of the formulas that I have written. Ignore this R1, C1 for now. This is the row and column reference. We use it for programming. But even if you look at this column D, I hope you can see how handy this is, right? We just see a list of all the formulas and check it. A lot of people say, why do I need it? But when they see it, they realize that this can help you quite a lot. Those were my about a dozen tips on writing Excel formulas. Put in a lot of effort, and remember, no time is wasted. If you spend 3 hours trying to write a formula and it doesn't work, that's still learning, because you're learning something from it. But when you learn a function, learn it fundamentally. Don't just copy and paste it, because then you will have to do that every single time. Spend an extra 5 minutes, understand how it is working, try out different combinations. Like I always say, try to break the formula. When you try to break the formula, you'll learn a lot. Don't be very cautious and very careful. Try to be creative and try to, like I said, break the formula, try out different options and see if it works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't, but everything is a learning for you. All the very best, everyone. And I hope you like the other videos on my channel as well. Thank you.